Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs, and I suppose welcome back to the final Premier Division show of the season. There's going to be plenty more content though. There's going to be a preview of Drogheda United and Derry City in the FAI Cup. We're going to have a fan of both clubs on for that one. There's going to be a rate the transfer rumour show fairly soon as well. I'm going to be doing a video on who I think my personal player of the year was this season. I'm going to have a team of the season video, cup final vlog, etc. So there's plenty of stuff coming in the next few weeks. Funny how the season ends, and there's still plenty of stuff. But we're going to do in a few weeks as well. Once the season's over, I'm going to do a League of Ireland quiz. So get a few guys on, and it's going to be a quiz basically on the 2024 season. Now, what a final day we had. Shelbourne ended up winning the league. I actually did a congratulatory video on that basically. I've done a vlog at Tallaght Stadium as well, which was interesting. Well done to Shelbourne once again. We'll get into their game in a minute. They finished 2 points clear. Shamrock Rovers. St. Patrick's Leg finished third and get that final European place. Dundalk, of course, are relegated, and Drogheda United are in the playoff. But obviously, I was at Tallaght Stadium. I won't talk too much about that one. I think I'm going to talk more about the Derry City Shelbourne game. And kind of talk about them in conjunction with each other. As I said, it was at Tallaght Stadium. They link. It's hard to talk about one and then go straight in and talk about the other one separately. First of all, I suppose it was at Tallaght Stadium, and Rovers got into an early lead through Johnny Kenny, a very early goal, which gave them the lead. And, you know, they eventually went 2 up in the second half. Farouja basically killed the crossbar, essentially, and Watts as well to finish it up. Um, but they were 2 up, and it wasn't comfortable. Waterford were quite good in this game, actually. They played some nice football. I thought Bagley was good. Seems he plays better when the occasion is bigger in terms of the type of team he plays against, like a Shamrock Rovers, etc. But I thought he played well. Parsons played very well in the first half. Armand obviously scores to make it 2-1 later on, and brilliant finish, by the way. He gets around Pico Lopez, and it's a lovely finish. And Rovers were a bit jittery. Armand hits the bar with a header, and he has another one which he hits sweetly, his left foot just over the bar. Waterford definitely contributed to this game and could have easily got something out of the game. But it was interesting, in the last, let's say, 10 minutes, when it was 2-1 to Shamrock Rovers and it was 0-0 at the Brandywell, I just smelled something was going to change. I said, this isn't filtering out. It's not going to finish 0-0 at the Brandywell and 2-1 at Tallaght Stadium. Either Waterford are going to come and get a surprise equaliser, or Derry at least were going to score, or Shels were going to score. I just didn't see it filtering out like that. And when I looked across on my left-hand side at the Waterford fans, who were brilliant all night and brought a great support, cheering, I knew Shelbourne taking the lead. And then there was a hush around the place. But on to Shelbourne and Derry pretty much in that way. You know, Derry City, like there was talk that Derry City were going to play out some kind of a weakened team, and I knew it was a load of crap, for want of a better word, to be honest with you. It was never going to happen. And they hit the bar in the game as well. But I always felt the longer this could go on 0-0, that Shelbourne were more likely, to be honest, of maybe nicking a goal. I felt if Derry took the lead against Shelbourne, I felt that was Shelbourne's goose cooked, and they would have to hope for a result at Tallaght Stadium. I don't think Shells would have turned around to win 2-1, personally. But they didn't take the lead. And Harry Wood's goal comes in 85 minutes. Now, funnily enough, there was suspicion of an offside. The angle isn't conclusive by any means, but I always fall under the... This is why I don't like about VAR, by the way. I always kind of fall under the line. If anything's very tight, I've no problem with a goal being scored. I never had, you know what I mean? So, there was no conclusive angle. Wood does very well, by the way. It's a free kick where Sean Boyd just hits into the wall, and it cannons around a little bit, and Wood is very sharp to get on it and score his first goal of the season for Shelbourne. And what a goal it was in terms of the importance of the goal. And as I say, Harry Wood goes into Shelbourne folklore for that alone. But I mean, Shelbourne were in a position here with 3 games to go where essentially they had to win their last 3 games, and they probably knew that in their heads, that they had to win the last 3 games. They would have expected Shamrock Rovers to go and win against Dundalk and Waterford. They would have had that in their heads is that's going to happen. So that meant they had to win their last 3 games. Now, there's a bit of pressure on that. They were 1 down against Waterford as well, who I just mentioned put up a very good show at Tallaght Stadium. And even though Derry were out of the race, Derry still had something to fight for here, a possible European place. And even at this point of the game, by the way, Pats were only 1-0 up at the showgrounds against Sligo. Pats got a late one to make it 2. But for all Derry knew, Sligo were going to get the late goal and get an equaliser. So that game was still in the melting pot as well. It's not as if Pats were 2 or 3 up and was filtering out around the Brandywell. And, do you know what I mean? You'd half give up in that situation from a Derry point of view. So they still had a chance, really, actually, up to pretty much the final whistle of possibly getting that European place. But for Shels, as I said there, I think they showed real character and real bottle in the last 3 games to go on and win those last 3 games. Because they had to do it. They had to do it, and it wasn't easy. Particularly for a side who's inexperienced in a title challenge. You know, yes, if players are experienced, as in Sean Gannon, 11 league titles, Paddy Barrett, and players like that, and a few other players too. Yes, of course they do. But as a team unit, they didn't have that experience of being in a championship race, to be fair. They didn't have that experience. And Shamrock Rovers did and do, obviously. So, ultimately, over the course of the season, I should say, Shels deserved to win the league, really. Rovers didn't do enough. And I have to say, Stephen Bradley was brilliant in his interview at the end. Full of congratulations for Shelbourne. As he said, they didn't do enough throughout the season. They didn't really lose it on the night, really, because it was out of their hands. They didn't lose it on the night. He put it down to a lot of other reasons in terms of, I think the injury thing was a big thing for them. I think he's kind of suggested that they've done things wrong, maybe potentially in pre-season. It seems to be something he's alluding to. And, you know, they know how to put it right for next season in that regard. But they didn't do enough throughout the season, Shamrock Rovers. They nearly pinched it, unbelievably, if you think about it. They nearly pinched it. But Shels have been top, you know, basically all season, since about week 3, and they might have relinquished it once to Derry City. Derry might have been ahead of them on goal difference at 1 point over the course of a weekend, I think, as far as I remember. But they've been top all season, and to go and win the last 3 games, in which they knew they had to do it, shows character, shows bottle, shows fight. Very good defensively all season. Earlier on in the season, I think Will Jarvis contributed massively to a lot of their good attacking play and a lot of their points, 3 points early on in the season. And they deserve it. It's a massive achievement for Shelbourne to come where they've come from in the last couple of years. You know, their 3rd season in the Premier Division, having finished 7th, got to a cup final, getting into Europe last year. The attitude was, if they got into Europe this year, it'd be a major achievement. So to go and win the title is just unbelievable, and a fantastic achievement for them. Fully deserved it. As I said, with Rovers, didn't do enough. Quick word on Derry City, very quick word on Derry City. We'll be talking about them in the preview of the Cup, but very disappointing for them to finish 4th. Honestly, I mean, they were out of sight of the likes of Pats, who they managed to let him finish ahead of them, basically. And, you know, even Shamrock Rovers, they never, when they had opportunities, for the most part, to reel in Shelbourne or even get ahead of Shelbourne, they never took those opportunities. And how many opportunities do you need? But to finish 4th is very disappointing from their point of view. And it's all in the Cup now for them to get into Europe. It's amazing that they haven't actually finished in the European spot in the league. Very disappointing for them. Quick word on Waterford. I talked about them a little bit there, but overall, I think it's been a good season for Waterford. Keith Long has done a very good job there. Yes, they suffered in the last couple of months, but they probably overachieved a little bit at the start of the season. Amond has been brilliant for them this season. Not just the goals, but what he's contributed to the team. Keith Long has got the best out of some players there. One area of the team I think they need to improve on, to be honest, is defensively. Next season, if I'm honest, I think they need to make improvements there, particularly at centre half. I think Dara Power has been excellent at right back, but at centre back, I think they need improvements there big time, and probably need someone in to give Amond a dig out. He's 36 now as well, to be fair, but very experienced. He's had major impact in that squad, and look, they've had a good season. They stayed up comfortably. If someone said that start of the season, they would have taken it at Waterford. Next, we will go to basically Sligo Rovers and St. Pat's because obviously there was something big on the line there too. And Pats sensationally won their last 9 games, ended up as top scorers in the league as well, and the best home record in the league. To win the last 9 games, that's a round of games basically. We've got obviously 4 rounds of games of 9, and to win the last 9 was sensational in a season and in a league where it was very difficult to go on winning runs. Only Shelbourne have gone on a very good winning run of 6, and they're league champions. So to win the last 9 games for Pats was sensational. And some very good performances in there as well. And the performance of Sligo was decent. Deserved to win the game for sure. Keena gives them the lead after 38 minutes after Mulroney does brilliantly out wide. And Roman Palmer scores late on to make it 2-0. Sligo did have chances in the game as well. Pats had a couple other chances, Keane in particular, but yeah, they deserved to win the game, and ultimately to win 9 games in a row. I thought they'd no chance. 10 games ago, I thought they'd absolutely zero chance. Even though I'm a big fan of Stephen Kenny, and I felt with Stephen Kenny coming in, to be honest, that Pats would get better, and particularly in the fitness level stakes would take a couple of months. You could see that, but I didn't expect the improvements he made so quick. To be honest, I thought most of them. I was looking more pre-season, next season. It's very interesting to see how they do next season in the window as well. But sensational run, absolutely sensational run, and ended up finishing third, 4 points off Shelbourne, which is just amazing from where they were. 10 games ago, they were level with Bows in the league, and Bows were down there in 8th place, so just incredible. For Sligo, petered out a little bit, 6th in the league. Again, I think they're taking that at the start of the season. I really do, Sligo Rovers. And John Russell, to be fair, has done a good job there, and he does try and play a nice brand of football as well. They play, sometimes when they play very well on the counter, they look really strong, one of the best in the league actually at times. They've had really good performances this season, like Ellis Chapman, etc. Ed McGinty has done well in between sticks as well, and Niall Moran has really captained that side this season too. And from their point of view, yeah, it's been a good season. Be interesting to see what they can do in the window, and kind of keep the likes of McGinty, etc. When I say keep, he's obviously technically gone, but can they manage to get him in? I think he'd be massive. The goalkeeper was a big issue the season before, I felt too. So that'd be massive. But I think, look, fair play to Sligo Rovers. They've had a very good season. They'll be disappointed a little bit in the last couple of weeks. They haven't maybe stayed in the European race a little bit longer. But it doesn't help when a Pats goes and wins 9 games in a row, to be fair, either. So, yeah, fair play to Pats. Brilliant to finish third in the end of the league. And as I said, Sligo have had a good season. Dundalk 3-0 with Drogheda at United Park or Weavers Park. And this game, yeah, I mean, it's strange for a loud derby to mean nothing. I'm sure. In fairness to Dundalk, fair play to the travelling support, because it could have been easy to kind of look. You're playing your rivals away, you're relegated. You're there for slagging, but they travelled in their numbers. To be fair to Dundalk, so fair play to their crowd there. And look, they'll just be hoping that in the next couple of weeks they can sort themselves out, and you know that the club can take their place really in the first division. I don't know what's going to happen in terms of, are they going to be full time or part time or not. Look, they're discussions for another day. But look, a very disappointing season all round in so many ways, and obviously losing a massive League of Ireland fan and Maxi Kavanagh as well. Just it's that's another thing altogether, as we all know, isn't it? But when it rains, it pours, as they say. From Drogheda's point of view, look, made some changes and stuff like that, and they have a massive few weeks ahead of them. The FAI Cup final, followed by the playoff against Bray Wanderers. So, you might say which game is more important. Well, to be honest with you, it's clearly the playoff game. But the next game is the FAI Cup final, so they'll be looking forward to that, and they'll go in as underdogs, but I won't be ruling them out of that either. And they'll go in as big favourites against Bray, but you have to be careful as well. You've seen the FAI Cup semi-final, they got a bit of a warning against Wexford, didn't they, as such? So one-off games you just don't know in terms of cup finals or playoff finals on the way. And they've had their season turned really, didn't it, in that latest window, I think, to be honest with you. And them and Dundalk lost a few good players. But then everything capitulated really for Dundalk. Apart from that, for Drogheda, um, their window was brilliant. Was absolutely brilliant. At one point, it looked like it might catch Bowes even, um, but that didn't quite happen, unfortunately for them. And yeah, their window ultimately saved them, I think, to be honest with you. Um, and in the end, their season isn't over, and we don't know how it'll pan out. But I mean, you could end up winning FAI Cup, you could end up staying up, you could both could happen oppositely as well. You could lose the FAI Cup final and get relegated. So there's so much there for Drogheda United still, and still hard to judge them in terms of how their season is, isn't it? Because of that, but 0-0 draw with Dundalk, and obviously that's how it finished. Finally, Bohemians ended their season with a 1-1 draw against Galway, and their season just filtered out. First of all, Galway have been brilliant this season. They've signed up Cathal Hickey already and Brendan Clark for next year. That's brilliant for them. To finish fifth in the league, to be honest, has been a very good season for a team just up to. And in this particular game, they had a lot of good chances, particularly in the first half. Hurley equalised after Dale Rooney had given Bowes the lead after brilliant play from Dawson Devine. But the first half did an awful lot of chances in the game, and probably should have been ahead of half time. But in the end, the share of the spoils was the case at Dalymount, and Bowes end the season in 8th position, second worst home record in the league. Very disappointing from their point of view, and it's a season to forget for Bowes, and they'll be looking to improve next season. Be interested to see what they do in the window. A couple of players have left already. The likes of Pishek and Akintunde have gone. Jevon Mills has gone back as well, and Brian McManus has gone. Martin Miller's gone as well, which is an interesting one. I think out of those players, he's certainly been the better of those players, that's for sure. But it always feels like Bowes always need another rebuild, but they're kind of getting rid of players that they've recently signed all the time, and that has to stop. So they obviously have to make better signings, but they're doing that all the time, and it seems to be rinse and repeat. But very disappointing season overall for Bowes, and they'll be hoping to do better next season. There's no doubt about that. So guys, I'm going to leave it there. I told you at the start of the video, the content's coming up soon, so like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. That would be fantastic, and we'll see you later. Thank you. Goodbye.